on the agenda is the proposed operating budget for Village of Elwood. Nick?
Thank you. As you know, we passed these budgets out last time, and I did pass out a confidential item for you, and that's the salary and benefits for the coming year, the proposed salary and benefits. We'll take some time to go over that in a bit, but not tonight. Now, we do have the next meeting scheduled for next Wednesday on the 30th. That's when we'll actually pass this budget, and we had a public hearing notice go in the paper that met all legal requirements. So we had to schedule this kind of in between the reviews that we're having and that ordinance itself. We have to leave it for public inspection for a period of time. So we did pass them out at the last meeting. We have another meeting scheduled for the 30th, and that's just to pass the budget, and that's it. And I did pass out the confidential information. If you have any questions on that, give me a call. What that is everyone's salary, their starting dates, and some information about them, what benefit program they're on, and how it totals up for the village, and what some of our costs are with the roll-up with IMRF and FICA and everything else. I just wanted to point out that the budget document that we're presenting is a balanced budget. There aren't any funds that are in deficit and didn't finish the year with any funds in deficit other than the garbage, I believe, and the ones that were planned. The only reason garbage is because we keep a fund balance in there, and if we do have some unexpected storms, we have a fund balance there to go and do a couple extra cleanups, and that's normally what we do. But we're also a village who gets the government certificate, the GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association certification for both our audit and our budget, and we'll continue to do that with this budget. Now you might notice too that in total there's a couple of funds that are missing. Phase 1 is a fund that's been phased out. Started about 10 years ago. All the funds are gone out of that, so we eliminated that. There isn't a TIF fund because we have to report on the TIF, so we don't budget for that, but we report on it. And then the other is the Brandon Knoll Fund. We've seen that for a couple of years, and what we did there was we collected money over a period of, I think, 10 years max. And then there was by a developer and an Elwood Energy, and then we had to use that money to repair Knoll. And that's been repaired. That's opened up, and I think the construction is done, just about done.
Yeah, construction was completed December 1st of 2013, and we ended up actually refunding a portion of the money to the entities that contributed the money because the improvements were completed and there was some money left over.
So what I'd like to do is to cover some of the miscellaneous funds first, make some comments about the special service area, the general fund revenue, administration. After that, I'd like to turn it over to Chief Hayes, and he'll go over his budget, and then I'll turn it over to Max. Max will go over the street department budget, and then I'll go over the water and sewer revenues, and Max will continue with water and sewer, and then cover some capital items for the coming year. Under the miscellaneous side, if you could turn to page 187, that's motor fuel tax, 187. And while you're looking for that, I'll make some comments on it. The motor fuel tax fund has a very large fund balance in it of $1.7 million. The reason is we received that money when we did the jurisdictional transfer of Old Chicago Road. And the state required us to put it in motor fuel tax. So what we'll be doing is we'll be taking project money out of motor fuel tax and out of that fund to do projects in the future. This year we're receiving $54,126,000. That money is distributed per capita. So they take all the gas tax that's sold throughout the state, distributed per capita to the municipalities. A portion of that goes to the municipalities. All we have historically spent that on year after year is road salt. We haven't taken operations out of there. We haven't taken major capital items out of there. So you collect those in a town, and you're doing a major project, and then you'll do a major project every 4 or 5 years. And it has to meet the requirements of the motor fuel tax. So it's a little bit different, but it's kind of a capital fund that we receive special revenue for. So any questions on motor fuel tax? If not, if you could move to page 196. That's our garbage fund. And while you're looking for that, as I said earlier, that's a fund that we keep a fund balance in of about $20,000 to $25,000, $26,000 in this case. And the reason for that is we're able to do special pickups when there's a storm, when there's a tornado, we had some bad winds, we had some damage. We have the funds to go ahead and do special pickups in addition to our normal pickups. So we keep the fund balance in there. And what you'll notice is in the projected year end for FY 13-14, you'll find that that fund is in deficit. That's just an in and out fund. Collect money from the residents and we give it to the garbage company. We collect a little bit more, about 2% more for this very reason. So we're able to do the additional pickups when we need to do them if anything special happens. Any questions on garbage? You know, all that is set by contract, and we have a 7-year agreement with Waste Management. That contract won't be up for another couple of years. But we did, if you recall, when we did get that contract, we required them to do garbage pickups on Monday, and that's what, kind of everyone wanted. That was kind of, something that most of the residents wanted, so they could do their cleanups on the weekend and get garbage picked up on Monday. The next fund would be the debt service fund on page 249. And again, that's a fund that's basically an in and out, but what you'd like to show is all your debt items in one spot. And that actually does it for you. It's there toward the back. And what we do split out is all the costs associated with that debt. So the village has a few bond issues out there. We have 2006, 2007, 2010A, and 2010B. We're only paying on 2005 and on 2010A. So those funds come from, we don't have to tax for those. We do an abatement every year. They don't go on the property tax levy. 2010A comes out of the water and sewer fund. And 205 actually comes from additional revenue. So there's some revenue left in the general fund. We transferred that over, and that takes care of all of our debt obligations. So we're not a community that has to tax the property owners for debt service. Any questions on that? The other, if you could turn to the special service area on page 221. Special service area fund we had some issues with, but what we would like to do is to pass this budget the way it is, with the revenue stream at $1,010,000. Now the reason it got up so high the previous year, if you look to the left of the revenue, you can see we brought in $1,027,000. Found an error in how things were calculated in the past. And as you know, what we do with this is we actually have a separate tax that all the businesses in the industrial park pay for. So they pay for their service.